In the Marvel Universe, gods walk the stars, cosmic beings shape galaxies, and super soldiers fight for justice. But among all of that, the most human power of all comes from something much closer to home: evolution. Because the mutants, the X-Men, weren't created by accident or bitten by spiders or gifted by gods. They were born from the natural evolution of humanity itself. But their origins go way deeper, back to the dawn of time, long before Charles Xavier ever opened up a school. And this is the LoreVerse, and today we are bringing down the origin of the X-Men, how the mutant gene was born, who first carried it, and why the mutants were always destined to rise. Now, let's start at the very beginning. Long before superheroes existed, the Celestials, cosmic gods of creation, visited Earth. Now, their goal was to experiment on early humanity. So, what happened was they took primitive humans and split them into three groups. The Eternals, they were nearly perfect and immortal beings. The Deviants, they were unstable and monsters. And finally, normal humans, except these normal ones were left with something hidden inside them: a genetic spark, a dormant mutation that would one day allow certain humans to evolve to adapt faster than anyone else. And that spark became known as the X gene. And that right there is the true origin of the mutant race. Now, let's fast forward thousands of years, and that gene finally activates. In ancient Egypt, a child is born with gray blue skin and godlike power, and his name was Enseba Nor, better known as Apocalypse. He becomes the first mutant, the first Homo superior, and with his power, he conquers and enslaves, believing that only the strong should survive. And to Apocalypse, mutation is destiny, is evolution's final law in his eyes. He sees himself as the beginning of a new species, and in a way, he's right, because from that point on, the X gene does not disappear. It spreads quietly, patiently, and waiting for the right time to awaken again. For thousands of years, the X gene stayed hidden, only surfacing in rare individuals, prophets, warriors. People whispered about it, but it was kind of like a myth. And some were worshipped as gods, others were hunted as monsters. But every one of them carried the same secret: the next step in evolution had already begun. And then in the 20th century, something changed. After the atomic age, human DNA began to mutate faster. Radiation technology and global shifts all pushed the X gene into overdrive, and suddenly mutant births were skyrocketed, and humanity realized it was no longer alone. And this was the birth of Homo superior and the beginning of the conflict that would define the world forever. Now, let's enter in Charles Xavier. Born in Westchester, New York, Charles was a child prodigy, a telepath born with immense mental power. But instead of seeing his mutation as a curse, he saw it as potential. He studied mutation, understanding that this wasn't some random anomaly, right? It was evolution. Humanity was changing, and while the world feared what was coming, Charles decided to prepare for it. He created Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters, a place where young mutants could learn to control their powers and live without fear. But more than that, it was a foundation of his dream: a world where humans and mutants could live together in peace. And protect that dream forever, he needed a team. Now, Charles gathered his first class of five young mutants: Scott Summers, aka Cyclops, with optic blast that could level buildings; Jean Grey, telepath and telekinetic with untapped cosmic potential; Hank McCoy, who was Beast, the mind of a genius in the body of an acrobat; Warren Worthington III, aka Angel, gifted with wings and flight; and Bobby Drake, who was Iceman, who could control and generate ice. And they became the X-Men, named after the extra gene that set them apart. And their mission wasn't conquest, but it was understanding. And they would protect the world, even if the world hated them for it. Because for Charles, the X-Men weren't just heroes, they were hope. But hope is fragile. Another mutant, Charles's old friend, Eric, also known as Magneto, believed coexistence was impossible. A survivor of humanity's worst cruelty, Magneto saw history repeating himself. To him, the X gene wasn't evolution to embrace, it was evolution to defend. He gathered his own followers, the Brotherhood of Mutants, and declared that mutants must rule, not beg. And that's what divides the mutant world: two men, two visions, both born from the same dream but destined to walk opposite paths. From there, the mutant population exploded: Storms in Africa, Wolverine in Canada, Nightcrawler in Germany, and the X gene spread across every corner of the planet, a symbol of how evolution really can't be stopped, only feared and embraced. And with every new generation, humanity was forced to face a question it couldn't ignore: if mutants are the future, what does that make us? The origin of the X-Men isn't just about powers, it's about destiny, because the mutants didn't just appear by accident. They were written into the very DNA of creation. From the Celestials' first experiment to Charles Xavier's first class, every moment led to this: the next step in evolution walking among us. And this is LoreVerse, and that's the true origin of the X-Men. If you guys want to hear how Wolverine and the Storm and other characters got woven into the X-Men, I would love to do more videos on this, because I have this like odd random fascination with the X-Men right now. So I would love to make more X-Men content. So please like and subscribe and ring the notification bell, and peace out, y'all.